Hey everybody, what is going on? I am Maximus Rex and this is Big Baby Reviews. Today's Jay Lee Day. This will be the last Jay Lee Day. Unfortunately, we're going to be leaving on kind of a sour note overall because the HELLSHOCK series is not his best work. It's just I don't have any other Jay Lee books in my collection right now after this. Maybe at some point, I'll get some. I remember the Inhumans miniseries. I don't have it, but I remember reading it. My friend lent it to me way back in the day. It was pretty darn cool. Someone else writing, so that certainly helped. And there's some later stuff I could probably look into as well. I've mentioned many times his modern stuff, the covers he's doing look amazing to me. It'd be great to see him do a whole sequential, at least mini-series of comics at this point. But he seems to be mostly sticking to covers, which probably pays really well and is a lot less thought and work really in a way. So I could totally understand and Jay Lee doing that and not faulting him for it. So this will probably be, again, because it's the last Jay Lee issue, I don't want to knock it too much. There are some positive spots that I'll talk about, but yeah, just generally HELLSHOCK, the first volume and this second volume, pretty disappointing overall. But there's definitely better stuff in this issue than issue number 2, and I don't have the next issue, which is issue 4. Am I mistaken? Does this continue? I don't know for sure. Nor do I care. I probably wouldn't buy them. If I'm going to review other Jay Lee stuff, it's going to be Inhumans or something better that he did at that point. I think he did the Sentry as well. I remember that, reading that. I thought that was pretty good as well, from what I can remember anyways. Anyway, starting with the cover, not much to say. Not the most interesting image. Again, I've talked about how I feel like he's going for like a Vertigo kind of vibe to this book, and that definitely shows off here. He's basically now moved his influences more towards, at least during this period, I think like Dave McKean and that kind of Vertigo artist. And the storyline he's trying to create as well, it just doesn't really hit with me. And I don't think it hit with a lot of people because, this is a dollar bin book for sure. And no one, I mean, we kind of talk about the first HELLSHOCK miniseries just a little bit because of the design, the look of the character. This one, I just have never heard anyone really talk about. But yeah, right away, the one improvement I will say is the art opens up a little bit, right? Instead of being kind of lots of panels and lots of talk and dialogue, this one actually pulls back a bit. And, there's less dialogue. There's more illustrating going on, more images that you can kind of sink your teeth into and look at. And I feel like, he's figured something out here. He's not using photo reference quite as much. But it's too little too late, I guess I would say at this point, right? So right away you can see that big opened up vertical panel here, which is cool. I like this effect here of the side of the building that kind of fades off and just a color strip. I think the coloring works in some spots throughout this comic. But the fairly dull muted colors all the way throughout are definitely there for the vibe. And as you can see, just really open up on the storytelling, bigger panels. Still not something I would say is image level where it's just all splash pages and stuff. There's more backgrounds as well. So it feels like artistically he's putting more effort into it. But again, not enough to make me care by this point. We go back to this girl here, very depressed, obviously very kind of oppressed environment here, and that's the feel of the whole book. I'm going to go again through quickly just because not much is going on here, a lot of talking, although as I said, the dialogue's been cut down a little bit. The coloring on these pages is just, again, a little more interesting than what we see in the sequence before that, where it's almost purely monochrome. And the fact, again, that he's not using photo reference really I like. And the overall aesthetic is still pretty Jim Lee overall and scratchy, a little bit of that Bill Sienkiewicz influence, which is fine. I really start to miss the bombastic anatomy, the guns, the image style that he was doing early on is just completely gone and obliterated here. So talking about that night where they jumped off the building, last issue number 2, right? That was the only kind of artistically kind of relevant part of the book to me anyways, was that last double page splash. That looked pretty cool where they're taking off, right? And they're just kind of bringing us back to that moment here. And that color change of the intense kind of orange red sky here, I think is kind of cool and works to a certain extent. Maybe not so much here. This looks a little digitally or digitized, or however you want to describe it. But yeah, we go back to that moment and it's almost a retelling of it to basically let us know that whole kind of moment where the characters were, at least for once throughout this HELLSHOCK Volume 2, freed and moving away from their troubles. They actually just jumped off and fell here, and that's what happened. Apparently he broke his neck. So it's a very cheery, chippy, positive story going on here. And, what we're left with at the end is just you know, a shot of her with her wrist cut, possibly her throat cut. I'm not quite sure. It's like she's cut herself everywhere and most likely committing suicide here. So yeah, kind of a downer on this one, I'll be honest. I'll give props to Jay Lee. He's kind of helping out just I guess some artist who sent in this depiction of let me try that again, HELLSHOCK. Thankfully with some pants on, fighting some demons and stuff. That's some pretty cool painted artwork, I gotta say. So this guy's name is Carlos Taylor. He was born in Baltimore and raised in Madrid, Spain. Don't know anything about him. I do think this art here looks really good. If anyone has any info, let me know in the comments if he ever published or ever did some actual comic books, or just if anyone knows if he's still around. Never got into kabuki. It's never my thing. Vampirella. You would assume her nipples would be hard most of the time, as she's not wearing a lot of clothing. Anytime it gets a little cold. Pretty obvious there. Already talked about this ad, so just looks cool. Appreciate seeing some of the black and white Michael Golden inked art. Mage, I read. Pretty cool. I like this character design. It says Bumfuzzled, read the Max. I'm missing a few issues of the Max at my run, so I might have missed this character. Kind of a cool design. I'm going to assume that's a baby because he's wearing a diaper here, and he's got kind of that yellow bastard kind of vibe, but with, I guess, someone cum shotted him in the face or something. Similar to the depiction of the Max's gloves. So I don't know if there's a connection there, but pretty cool Sam Keith image. Creepy and weird. Oh, and he does the black, and then he comes back with the white medium and hatches through it. That's a Sam Keith thing that I think it looks pretty cool. No idea what this is. The 10th. Don't remember who was doing that. What was his name? You would think they would put his name here. Oh, there it is. By Tony Daniel. Yes, that's right. Who eventually went on to, well, drew Spawn before the 10th, I think. Just reviewed this last Saturday. Check it out. So I guess HELLSHOCK Volume 2, Issue 3 came out in around the same time, or just maybe a little bit before this one. And I was just surprised to see this one and enjoyed looking at it. This is a Stephen Platt illustration for, what was this book called? Hip Flask, right? Kind of a hippopotamus kind of barbarian. I mean, this is pretty much almost the aardvark character. What is his name? Cerebus. But just appreciate seeing some Stephen Platt artwork from back in the day with, still somewhat of that original style that he had when he first came out. Just something I'd never seen before from him. Looks really cool. Obviously, it's got the signature Stephen Platt hatching, multiple weapons here, not bullets but arrows, just lots of them. And but I do feel compositionally he's cleared things up a little bit already, and things are easier to read than early Stephen Platt. Great shot. All right, guys, that is it for HELLSHOCK Issue 3, Volume 2, and that is it for Jay Lee as well. So starting next week, I'll be looking at a new artist, or something new anyways. Haven't quite decided yet, but I'll figure it out before then. Guys, if you're still watching and you are subscribed, I do appreciate all your support. Thank you so much. If you're watching but you're not subscribed, please do so below. It only takes a quick second for you, and it really helps the channel out, helps us grow, and helps get us out there to other people who are into comic books just like we are. So everyone, thanks again for watching today, and have an awesome day.
Like! Subscribe! Like! Subscribe!
King Comics presents Big Baby, Volume 1, Issues 1 to 13. 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at KINGCOMICS.CA, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby.